Welcome to the comprehensive teardown guide for the Supernote Manta. Before we get started, there are a few essential preparations to ensure a smooth process. Firstly, make sure your Supernote Manta is completely powered off. Secondly, retrieve the screwdriver that came with the box, as well as a credit card or a similar tool that will help you open the device's back panel easily. Lastly, grab a container or a small dish to keep all the screws you remove organized and safe, to avoid losing them during the process. Now that you're all set, let's dive in. This is how to replace the battery module. Place your device on a flat surface with the back facing up, making sure the Supernote logo is oriented correctly. First, use a credit card to gently open one side of the back panel from here. Then, slide along the edge to pop open the back panel. Pop-up these 4 clips are all you need to open the back panel. Before removing the back panel, remember never lift the back panel straight up to avoid breaking the clips. Pull the back panel down toward you to remove. Use the screwdriver included in the box to remove these 3 screws near the battery and store them safely. Gently lift up to disconnect the ribbon cable connector. And carefully release it to avoid any damages. Get the battery removed. And put the replacement battery module into its housing compartment from the right side. Reposition the cable back into its place. Then, firmly but gently press down on the ribbon cable connector to reconnect. Put the screws back. Before reattaching the back panel, restart your device to ensure that the connection is secure. Once the device has restarted successfully, take your back panel, ensuring that the Supernote logo is facing you and is properly oriented. Align the top clips and then slide all the side clips on both sides of the back panel into place. Here they are, especially the ones at the end on each side. After all the side clips are securely slid into their slots, gently push the back panel upward to fit the top part into place. Finally, close the back panel by pushing the locking clips gently from the outer edge toward the inner case to avoid cracking the clip hooks. And that's how to correctly replace the battery module of the Supernote Manta. Now, let's take a look at the steps for replacing the motherboard. First, get your screwdriver and the replacement motherboard ready. Then, follow the previous chapter to remove the back panel. Gently lift up to disconnect the 4 ribbon cable connectors around the motherboard. Use the screwdriver to remove the 4 screws on the motherboard. Then, remove the 2 screws on the antenna adapter panel and store them separately. Carefully remove the motherboard by lifting up the SD card slot. While lifting the motherboard, cautiously removing it without touching the ribbon cable connectors to avoid damaging them. Grab the replacement motherboard. Align the SD card slot with the guiding channel next to it. Put the upper side into its housing compartment by aligning the screw points first. Then, put the other side into its housing compartment without touching the ribbon cable connector. Firmly but gently press down on the 4 ribbon cable connectors without damaging them. Put the 2 screws on the antenna adapter panel back. Put the 4 screws on the motherboard back. Restart the device to make sure the connection is secured. Once the device has successfully restarted, follow the instructions from the previous chapter to reattach the back panel. And that concludes our guide on replacing the motherboard for the Supernote Manta. Now, let's talk about how to install and remove a microSD card. Follow previous chapter to remove the back panel first. Locate the SD card slot. Place the microSD card into the guiding channel. Push it into the slot and release until it ejects slightly and clicks into place. Make sure the SD card is being read properly by your device. And if you want to remove the SD card, push in the card and release until it ejects more, then you can safely remove it. Once the SD card has successfully installed or removed, follow the instruction from the previous chapter to reattach the back panel. And that's how to tear down your Supernote Manta. Have fun.